So, I want to tackle a topic that really, I believe, needs special attention. It's been brought up to me over and over and over and over again over the years. And that is the issue of how do you handle it when a guy just will not accept no? Or maybe even moves into kind of being a little bit of a stalker, which is scary. And so, anyway, we're going to tackle that today. Now, before we go further, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Teresa, how do you know? How do you know about this stuff? Well, that is a great question, and it is a good question to ask when someone is giving advice. Like, how do you know? Okay? Now, this one comes from experience with my clients, but it also comes from a lot of personal experience. So the short version is I had a nightmare whack job boyfriend in high school that I didn't get rid of until the year after high school. Ended up with a restraining order. He got a trip to jail, and it ended that way, unfortunately. For lots of women, that is not how it ends. He got the picture because we just didn't see each other anymore, so I wasn't as much of, I guess he wasn't as attached to me as he used to be, so it worked in my favor. Now, the big one was when I was 20, I met a guy that was almost 11 years older than me, and he was a total predator. Now, I didn't know that at the time. I just thought, well, I just must be special because, he is hanging around all the time. He calls a lot. He shows up at places that I didn't tell him I was. So he must really like me. And he shows up at my house at all hours and, gives me gifts that I didn't ask for and just hangs out an inordinate amount of time. So I just must be special. No. Okay, but my 20-year-old self did not know that. Now, what ended up happening is I ended up marrying him. Yeah. So, and I know many of you are like, what were you thinking? Okay, I wasn't. I was 20, okay? So, the point of the matter is, I had to learn the hard way. And so, I have been dealing with this nightmare of a man for, let's see here, I don't know, since 1998. Now, I have 2 daughters with him, and we have had to deal with the consequences of a complete and total whack job, okay? So, this is a very personal topic for me, okay? Now, I'm also a bit of a research nerd, so I research a lot about this stuff and happened to come across Gavin de Becker's book, The Gift of Fear, and Protecting the Gift. Now, Gavin de Becker I highly recommend you read The Gift of Fear, by the way. Like, please, if you are watching this, would you please go either to iTunes and buy the audiobook or, read it, whatever your thing is, just get it read. But anyway, he's touted as the nation's leading expert in predicting violent behavior. And he helps anywhere from celebrities to the government to, Secret Service and to people like us, okay? So anyway, he has been a very good resource for me in just kind of pointing people to that book and just sharing with them what I have learned. So let's just strip this down to brass tacks. When a guy shows interest in you, we need to understand as women that we are not obligated to reciprocate, okay? We are not obligated to even be nice about it. In fact, when we are overly kind about it, then the guy, no matter what you say, the guy in turn thinks that because you're kind, well, that means, maybe in the future, if I don't leave this girl alone, maybe I'll get her. Well, movies, of course, really help along with that, because lots of movies, the guy just won't give up, and they call that perseverance, and that he just really loves her, and they end up getting married, and it all works out for the best. Well, it generally does not work that way, okay? A person who cannot listen to no is a very scary individual in all contexts. It's always inappropriate to not accept the word no. So when a guy shows interest in you, this is what you say. Okay, listen up. And you do it in a very business-like tone. Do not have a smile on your face. Do not be kind. Do not be mean and do not be humiliating. That's not okay either. But be very businesslike. And you say, I have no interest in you romantically, and I am certain that I never will. I would like you to move on with your life because that's what I'm going to do. The answer is no, and you need to leave me alone. Okay? That's what you say. Now, from that point on, any contact with him is contact. So let's say he sends you, all these texts, and you finally get sick of dealing with him, and you text him back and you see, leave me alone. That's contact. So he looks at that and he says, well, it just takes me 29 times for her to get back to me, so that's what I'll do next time. And he just keeps it up. So it is zero contact. Now, sometimes you need to remove yourself from places that he usually goes. Maybe there's a coffee shop that you like to hang out at, but so does he. Well, you might need to find a different coffee shop. You need to block his phone number. You need to not make eye contact when you see him. You need to treat him like you don't know him, okay? Now, if he still doesn't respect no, and here it is turning into being a stalker type situation, if you choose to get a restraining order, I want you to understand a restraining order is a piece of paper. It serves well if A, you think the guy is going to abide by it, and B, for the police, so that there is record that this guy causes you to fear him. So that if he violates it, hopefully the cop is smart enough to take him to jail. But where you can run into problems is where you think that piece of paper protects you. That guy, if he doesn't accept no, generally will not accept a court order, okay? So the point that I want you to get is the sooner that you deal with this, the less you will have to do later. Do more sooner so you do less later or don't have to do anything later. You do not want this person getting attached to you. Now, if this is a boyfriend situation, then you're going to have to be, very clear. You're going to have to put all these things, into practice as far as blocking his phone number, being very clear about how you feel about that. You need to tell a lot of people what's going on. When you are secretive about the situation, then you don't have enough eyes on you. Okay, you need eyes on you. You need people watching out for you. You tell your parents, tell people at school, and be firm. Whatever you do, do not back down. Do not go back to a guy who does not accept no, who tries to force his way, who is controlling, who you just don't want to be with. Just don't go back there, okay? Because then you're proving to him the harder he tries, the worse he gets, the more psycho he becomes, the more you will respond. And it should be the opposite. You need to shut him off like a switch. Done. I call it finding your bitch switch, okay? When a guy is unwanted and he's hanging around you, you need to turn on your bitch switch. And if the time comes where you have to say, that's enough, then you can't be nice about it. And you can't worry about the label when somebody calls you a bitch. Sorry, who cares? What is sillier? Putting yourself in harm's way because you don't want to be called a bitch? Or just speaking up and just saying, no, I don't want to do that, and so what if you call me a bitch? Whatever, who cares? I think I'd take the latter. So that is a little tiny bit. I mean, there are so many layers to this. If you have any questions, send me a little comment in the comment section below or email, whatever. But go read Gavin de Becker's book, The Gift of Fear. Now, if you are really feeling like you're in danger, you've got a domestic abuse situation, he has a program, I believe it's called Mosaic, and you can answer all these questions in depth, and he will help you understand how much of a risk this person is. You can also get a consultation with someone at their firm after you fill out that assessment form if you're really worried about it. So, it's just really, really helpful. So, anyway, if that is something that you want to do, just Google Gavin de Becker and you'll find him. And I think it's gavindebecker.com probably. So just figure that out. Again, ask me any questions. But I just love you all, and I just hope that you take this to heart because your safety is really important. And women, we're always going to have to deal with idiot guys. We just are. And there's really nice ones out there, but you have to discern who is really being nice and good, because niceness does not equal goodness. And who's a weirdo? You gotta be able to figure this out. So that book will help you, okay? So I just love you all.